welcome to my first panel. Thank you guys for coming. Our first panel, Lucrecia. We are Lucrecia, so we're a band, a Kawaii-core metal band, and yeah, thank you so much for coming here. So yeah, I'll just start with the introduction there of our band. So how many came to our show last night? And they're here from our show? Oh, wonderful. Okay, so some new people here. I'll just talk a little bit about our history then. So this is Frankie. My name is Suki. We are the vocalists, and we started Lucrecia. We started it about 7 years ago. First, it was just me by myself, and I wanted to start a band. I wanted to start a metal band similar to a lot of bands. You okay?
Yeah, I was moving my chair in.
Oh my goodness, it's okay. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Sorry to make that much noise.
But yeah, so first it was just me, and I had to look for band members, and he just got out of his band, Plagues Armada, and he knew how to scream, and I asked him to teach me. So, fast forward, eventually we found our members, our anime squad. This is Asher, and he writes a lot of the music. So we also have another guitarist, Daisuke, that helps write, but he's in Japan. He moved back to Japan after Trump came into office, and he also just started a whole band over there, or he joined another band. So he's not here, unfortunately, but he wrote a couple of songs I'll be talking about today. But majority is him. He composed most of it. So he'll also be talking about some stuff here.
Sorry.
Oh, it might be my other guitarist.
It's actually our drummer.
Oh, it's my drummer. He probably doesn't know we have a panel. Well, it's not a slight to him. It's just we do everything. So yeah, it's okay. But anyway, so yeah, that's our brief little introduction of Lucrecia, and so let's see here. So we're from the Bay Area, us two, and he's from Canada. He flew in from Canada to come play the show last night. And also Anime Expo. We played Anime Expo as well. And it's our first time playing a con. But yeah, he flew in from Canada, but we're from the Bay Area, specifically Oakland area. Sorry, I forget, I need to talk into this thing. But yeah, so basically, we really love Japanese RPGs and anime, and we named our band Lucrecia based off of Final Fantasy VII, if you guys know that. I wanted to incorporate basically everything I love, literally down to the music and the things that inspire me. So anime, games, that's what I grew up pretty much. I didn't really have a lot of other things in my life to teach me morals and things like that. So I really greatly look up to anime and video games. It's much deeper than just watching an episode of something. And, of course, you can feel emotions about it, but it means a lot to me. So I wanted to somehow make a band that I can sing, scream, and talk about things that move me, but also make it catchy. And if you didn't know what it was about, you would think it's a regular song. That was my goal, because I wanted to reach as many people as I can. But yeah, so do you want to add anything about basically that subject?
I don't have too much to say. You covered a lot of it pretty much. Our goal was kind of when we started was to try to make music that we thought sounded fun and catchy, and like she mentioned, you wouldn't really guess would be some nerdy otaku song, but the people at the time who got it would be like, yeah, we're out here with each other. So, but yeah, and like she said too, we felt that a lot of these games or animes we watched, there's always a lot of really heavy underlying themes and morals and stuff like that, and things that we as weebs or otakus really connect very strongly with, and sometimes it can change us for a lifetime, or you remember that one story or that one scene or something that made you either cry or moved or laugh or whatever, And you know, when you share that with other people, just like with your music, like you can form that really, really strong connection. And it was kind of like that kind of connection that we can have with both music and, you know, like fandoms and stuff that we wanted to really like kind of push for.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's pretty much like you took the words out of my mouth. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. So I'll just move on to conceptualization stage. So let's get into the meat here. So yeah, before we do anything with a song, so the first stage is deciding like the overall tone or feel the song will be like. So Frankie and I will pitch different ideas for, you know, if it's an anime that recently inspired us or like a video game or something like that, to see what types of songs we can create from those ideas. If we're writing an EP or an album, we'll do our best to curate or even balance between crazier and softer songs. So I do actually really incorporate a lot of balance into our music. So, you know, I like I said, I want to grab as many people as I can, but still be genuine about it. So I try to balance it out with really catchy hooks and some really, I mean, I love heavy music and I love soft music, so of course that's just also what I like to like play. But also I understand that that will grab the most people as well. So sometimes there's multiple answers to one thing, but for me that just makes it even of a stronger idea. So it pushes me even more to do that and feel confident in that. So that's how that pretty much goes. And then once we decide on the subject matter of the song and the general tone, we'll try to hone in on what we want to convey through the anime or a game that we love. I always felt it was easy to make a bunch of references haphazardly, but I always felt that these games had a lot to say and really spoke to me in deep ways. You know, many times moving me to tears on many occasions. And I want to convey that these games have, you know, touched me through their storytelling, but hopefully also speak to others the way my favorite musicians have as well. And I was going to give an example of some stuff here, but since this laptop is old, I can just talk about it. But I can talk about many songs, but I'll go ahead and talk about a song that's not out yet. It's called Chapter Black. And if you guys have seen Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime, I really, really love that anime a lot. I've watched it growing up. And I've watched it many times, actually. But a few years ago, when I rewatched it again with Frankie, we watched the episode called Chapter Black. And if you guys don't know the anime or that episode, basically I'll just like cut to it because it's kind of a lot. But they basically are spirit detectives and they fight demons, but they fought a human, and they were trying to understand why he was working for the demons, because to be honest, they're really, 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 really bad. I mean, they eat people and torture them. So, you know, it didn't make sense. But then he spoke of this tape, and it's called the Chapter Black tape. And, you know, it's a magical tape, okay? It has like thousands of hours of footage on it of humanity's atrocities. And I wish I could play the clip because the way he talks about it is what moved me. But basically, when he's talking about watching it, he has so much anger, and you could tell he's scared and sad. And it made me think about how I would feel if I saw this tape, and understand like what would it be like to be in his shoes. And I'm very like sensitive towards that stuff, so you know it was easy for me. But basically, I was like, okay, I need to write a song about this to convey this. And the lyrics are pretty much describing these things and describing the atrocities with a little bit of quotes from the song. Yeah, the song is not out, unfortunately, yet. But the next song is going to be released. And also, I said, okay, so I want this song to be probably like one of the heavier songs that we play. So pretty much no singing in it. The heaviest. So it's like a lot of dissonant sounds, and it's like the opposite of some of our other songs, like Grave of the Fireflies, which is all singing and very soft and melodic and beautiful. But so like we make sure that we match the lyrics with the sound of the song. It's a very angry song. So we have another song called Femto. That one is out. If you guys have seen Berserk or read Berserk. We're big fans of Berserk, huge fans. And of course that story moved me, and also like the writer Miura, I think that he's a genius. Particularly, I'm really inspired by the Skull Knight's quotes and monologues. But basically wrote that song. That song is about pretty much Guts' betrayal, and we wrote it really heavy. And the lyrics are some of my favorite lyrics we've ever written, actually. So if you really like that kind of stuff, check it out. Those lyrics are just, I don't know, I think they honor it very well. But basically that song is extremely heavy, and the lyrics are really angry. And that's another example. And we have an opposite song called Grave of the Fireflies. That song is really soft. There's only one singing or screaming part in it. And it's about the movie Grave of the Fireflies, if you guys have seen that Ghibli film. When I had to write that song, I had to watch the movie over and over and over again. It was terrible. But I wanted to make sure that I was in that emotional state when I wrote these lyrics. I wanted to make sure that pretty much I'm like crying as I write the words, because I want to touch as many people as I can, honestly and genuinely. So that was really hard, honestly, to watch that movie so many times. I mean, it's terrible, but also at the same time, that movie moved me so much that I put myself through that to make sure that if anybody hasn't seen it, that maybe they'll be inspired to watch it, because it's based off an autobiography, and I think it's important for people to see people's perspectives and those things. And if you don't know what it's about the war and in Japan after they lost. So there's a lot of hardships, and the main character goes through really terrible things. But a lot of people don't know that side because, if you're in America, you only know usually the American perspective. So I thought that was important as well. And that video, just to touch on that as well, since I might as well talk about that. I wanted to sometimes I just have these visualizations of like like what I want it to look like. I really like connecting visuals with music, because I really love movies and soundtracks and animes and soundtracks, and when you put those things together, I feel like it can pull out even more emotions from somebody. So I put a lot of time and effort into also like our videos. But that one is pretty simple, to be honest. It's just us all playing in the rain, and me on the floor, really sad, and splashing around, and but I wanted to do more, to be honest, but it wasn't feasible. So sometimes, like, I have these ideas, these grandiose ideas, but I don't have the money, honestly, 'cause it just costs more money. So I tried to still make it like, at least the bulk of it, what I want, and as much as I can realistically, to still convey that feeling. But that's pretty much when I at least want to give examples of those. Do you want to add anything?
No, again, you covered most of it, but pretty much, if I were to say anything, generally when we're deciding the tone, it sometimes takes a little bit of a while because, like you said, when you're a big, weeber otaku, you play a lot of games or watch a lot of animes or movies, and it's really hard sometimes to decide what you really want to write about. But the thing that I always really enjoy is when, you're deciding on that theme and you're kind of going through, like she's saying, like, over and over again, just like deciding what you're going to write about. Once you kind of like lock those in, it's really nice to kind of, find that semblance. But some of my favorite songs that we've written, I think, were all like inspired by things that we felt we were really touched by, like I don't know if you guys know the song that we wrote, but it's a song called "Sleeping Slaves of Fate." We wrote about an anime called JoJo that we really like a lot. It's like probably one of our favorite mangas.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Yeah.
part five specifically. Although we love all the parts, but we wrote about part 5 specifically.
Yeah, and when we were writing the song, at the time, we were going through like just an example of how we relate it. We were going through like a lot of shifts within our band where people that were with us when we first started as a band, because we kind of started as an online band too, and then like she said, found members. We're kind of like slowly happened to leave for various like life reasons and stuff like that, and we were getting new people. And at that time in JoJo, there was this term at the end that they talk about called "Sleeping Slaves of Fate," where even though you lose somebody along the way, and that's like their predetermined path, that they help push you farther towards your goal. And even though that they're not there with you to realize that goal, in a way they still are. And in a way, even though all the people quit, like we don't have any hard feelings with them. They're all our friends still. Like they were hanging out with us last night at the show, but their efforts help push us further and closer towards our goal to succeed as musicians and stuff like that. And I have felt that like camaraderie was like really important to talk about and stuff like that. So deciding those tones I think is hard, but I think when you lock them in, I think it makes the song like a little bit more special.
Yeah, actually, thanks for talking about that, because that was really important to talk about, and I wanted to bring it up, but my mind is running a million miles a minute right now, because honestly, I talk a lot about this, and I just want to make sure that I have enough time. But yeah, that's a good example. Also, I thought, I might as well talk about another example, because I feel like examples are good ways to understand how to do this. And the reason why we made the panel about this was because we get this question a lot. How can I translate? I get a lot of metal bands come up to me and they say, how do you guys write music about anime and it not sound corny? And I was like, I don't understand what you mean. I just, I guess, sometimes it's hard to, maybe they think, I'm not sure, maybe they think, imagine running around in a Naruto headband in their videos or something. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to understand that perspective because I never really put limitations on myself in that way. I never felt scared or worried about what anybody thought, if I was a nerd or not. Because growing up in the early 2000s, to be honest, it wasn't that popular to like anime. And actually, a lot of people lied about it, to be honest, because they didn't want to get bullied. But I was very loud about it. I was loud and proud, and I did get bullied, but I didn't care. It didn't stop me. So I guess maybe that's why my perspective is different than a lot of these people. But for example, there's a band called Alpha Wolf. They're a pretty famous metal band. They're really awesome. I love them a lot. He said, the vocalist said, I want to make more songs about anime and games, but I don't know how without looking cheesy. So we get it all the time, surprisingly, and I was like, okay, let's just make the panel about that. Maybe people can learn something, because I really want people to be able to express themselves without those limitations, Maybe it's the fear of what people will think, or maybe they literally just can't think outside the box. But that's pretty much what I want to say about that. But we have a song called Mementos, and that is inspired by Persona 5. If anybody played that game, we really love, like I said, JRPGs, and I love Persona. So we just beat the game, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta make a song about this. Because I'm really inspired by like the typical, like how they say, oh, we're gonna change their heart. Like the concept of them. Because actually I have thought about this as on a side note. I thought about how can we really change people who maybe are too deep into their evil, And the concept of them being able to go into their heart and being able to do that is like the only way I can imagine being able to truly change corrupt people, especially if they've been doing it for so long. So that's what inspired me. But so we wrote that song, and then also the video, and I put a lot of work into it. We all made up our own Persona characters, and completely made up. So like my drummer was like a bandito, cool guy with like a cool revolver. And it was pretty, like I loved it. It was so awesome. But I was inspired by kind of a mixture of the main character, so I kind of cheated. But and then our guitarist was like, he was some kind of inspired by Futaba, kind of cyber-y, but like his own. He picked out his own things, so it kind of looked different. And then we go into a mansion. I like rented out a mansion in Berkeley, a really old mansion, and. We went in there, and I killed my guitarist's brother because I made him the bad guy. Actually, he was in that music video too. His name's Birdo. He knocked him out.
Yeah, I fell many times.
You should just watch the video, honestly, because I don't know. I also find it funny, but it's serious, but it's just kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, for some reason we were amused by watching ourselves get beat up.
But I mean, I have fun doing that. But yeah, so that video we did that, and we had like a little treasure room. And I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, if I had more money, I could make it even better. But like I said, I think for what it was pretty good, and I don't think it's corny personally, but of course I do get comments. I love the music, but this is cringe. I mean, what can I say? I'm just gonna keep doing it. So either you're with it or you're not, and I'm not gonna stop. But yeah, and variations of that comment. So like, yeah, this is cringy, or the anime stuff is cringy. But actually, I don't get it that often. Like, you would think I get it. Oh my goodness, that cool Game Boy. That's so old.
You're on Game Boy camera.
Oh my gosh. You don't know how many hours. You don't know how many hours I played with that thing. I had a little printer too, the little Game Boy printer. Anybody remember that? But oh my gosh. Actually, I want to buy that just to collect it. But yeah, pretty much that. Anything, I mean, I just thought that was a really good example. So I'm gonna just like bring it back, because I like I said, I think my brain is like going crazy. We had a really late show last night.
Yeah, we played like 11:30, I think, for an hour.
Our show was pushed back an hour, but no one's fault. It's, things happen. But either way, I'm pretty tired. But, so my brain I need to like get it together. But yeah, so, okay, lyrics, right? So lyrics, and then I did the video, and then the music. So the music actually is kind of half and half. We did, this one has a little bit more screaming because it's called Mementos, and we're in Mementos, and we're changing someone's heart first. So for me, I thought, okay, mostly heavy with 20% pop, catchy melodies. And also I should mention that I'm inspired by a lot of bands like that, and not only that, but Japanese bands. You guys like know Kawaii-core, any baby metal stuff, I just like mixing that kind of really pop with metal. But yeah, so those are pretty much how I translated my love for Persona into a song and video. And obviously it's gonna be different every time. It's not always the same. But I guess, yeah, this is another good example. We have a song coming out called New Types. It's inspired by Gundam. Yeah, I really love Gundam a lot. But, okay, so this music video that I don't know if I'll ever have the money for, we need to hire an animation team, like a real animation team, because I came up with mecha anime. So, like, I designed all the new mecha. It's, of course I was inspired by other mecha, but I made up all new mechs. I made up all the characters. I made up the story. Basically, typical stuff. There's a war, but there's like these parasites, and they take over like the body, and then they turn the allies against them. So I drew this really crazy concept art of like a pilot, what it looks like when he's fully transitioned into the parasite, and it's like all these tendrils and meat. There's a lot of meat everywhere, gross red meat, like where it's shiny and bubbly for some reason, like in anime. Yeah, so did all that, and that's just inspired by Gundam, but it's not exactly Gundam. Like, I made up everything in it. But the lyrics were inspired by the 79 and Zeta Gundam specifically, because those are my two favorites, and I think your two favorites as well, right?
Yeah, I like double.
Yeah, the first two, literally the first two Gundams. But UC, we're like big
He's
UC
pretty
fan. Oh well, G Gundam, yeah, but we're big UC fans. If anybody likes Gundam. But yeah, that's an example of like how it's not exactly Gundam. It kind of mixed it up, you don't have to like follow a rigid thing. This is what I thought of, like, imagine in my head, it's like literally just closing your eyes sometimes and letting it go, just following. I guess you have to be a little creative, or maybe a lot, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, I think I just wanted to make sure I tell very good different examples, because I think that's the best way to learn. But yeah.
I don't think I have anything else. I think you covered it a lot. You're pretty. No, it's all good. That's what we're here for.
But yeah, so hopefully, that's pretty good. And then, I should probably check because why can't I show the time on this thing?
I got you. I've been watching
Yeah,
for
what
like
is
30
it?
minutes.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay, so I'll get to pretty much almost the end here. So that's like the writing stage. So after we pretty much gather all this information about, like, hey, okay, it's going to be about this. This is what we're going to write about. We pretty much talk to Asher after that. So we're like, hey, we want to write a song about, Chapter Black. We need you to make it like really heavy, please, like go crazy on it. And yeah, do you want to actually? I think that's good for you to talk about.
Okay,
to
sure.
be honest.
So yeah, well, this phase is kind of an interesting phase because, like Suki mentioned, we don't live really close to Asher. Asher lives all the way in Canada, and we live here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, we just actually met him in the flesh, and we've known him for
years. We've known him for years. We've been working together for years.
Just a few weeks ago, met him in the flesh for the first time.
Yeah, so we've had a really interesting relationship. But when we've written together, we've always had this like really strong kind of connection and symmetry, which I think is important when you're working with other musicians to have that like symmetry, so that even if you're far away, you can convey things to each other and they'll get what you're saying. But our conversations about music when we want to write it are kind of funny. Usually we'll kind of be like, hey, like she said, Asher, we want to write a song about this, that, or the other. And most of the time he'll be like, oh, he won't know what it's about, so he'll be like, tell me about it a little bit. We'll kind of like run through like a long rant about why we love it and why it's so great, just fan ranting.
Trying to sum it up for someone who hasn't seen it, or we'll just show him some stuff, or sometimes he doesn't even have to watch it really. We just tell him the feelings and ideas, and then he can get it. Because we're lucky, like he's just really good at writing in general. And also we have a synchronicity between all of us, so it's kind of like also a rare occurrence as well. But yeah, sorry, I just want to make sure I was clear about that.
But yeah, so we'll kind of send him ideas, various things. Like we'll send him like ideas about the song, like what we want to write about, like what we said, the overall general tone, what like the lyrical themes will be like, the overall like sound that we want sometimes. Like for example, we're working on like a full length right now, and on the full length we have this intro that we were kind of inspired by Nier Automata, the music in that game, because even though it's like been out for a while, like the music in that game still like I think hits really hard and has like has a perfect soundtrack in my opinion.
One of the best composers I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so we asked Asher to write intro for us, kind of like that, where it had kind of like a sadness to it, but as it went on, it would kind of get more like aggressive, because I feel like a lot of the parts in the game, like you'll notice, like the music kind of plays into the game so well that sometimes you don't even notice like the changes that are happening in it. But a lot of the songs will have like these build-ups where they'll have this really like strong sadness, especially like in the factories and a lot of the dungeons and stuff like that. And as you get through it further, they'll get more aggressive, and you hear a lot of like more aggressive sounds like hammers hitting metal and stuff like that, and lots of these like really mechanical sounding tones that I think really build the atmosphere of the song. And when we asked Asher to work on this intro with us, we were like wanted to kind of convey these same kind of tones. So we sent him not only the songs, I sent him some sounds of like literally like people hitting stuff, random dissonant noises, lots of various like orchestra music and just different stuff that we can kind of help him understand what our thoughts are, because conveying your thoughts like with no sound, like when you're with someone you could just be like, make a song that sounds like doo doo da doo doo da whatever, but when you're just typing you don't really got that. You could just record something, but there's always not a lot of time to do that. So I think that most definitely is an important part when we're first starting the writing, is getting that really clear. But we have a really good way of doing it, and it'll generally consist, like I said, of sending lots of ideas, lots of clips, lots of different stuff like that, and Asher kind of just like understanding that, and then let's kind of go back and forth, him asking us questions like, well, what would you like for this? And sometimes it's kind of weird, we'll have the song entirely mapped out in our head. Like when we did Chapter Black, we had a very, very concise idea of the way we wanted to sound, like from the beginning to the end. And on some of our other songs, we don't really have an idea. It's just like
more loose idea.
Yeah, it could be just a feeling.
More freedom of his creativity.
Yeah, so like for example, I think when we made Sleeping Slaves of Fate, I think that was one of the songs where we didn't really have an idea of how we wanted the song to actually go, as far as like the build up, the transitions and things like that. But we knew like the feeling and like the overall tones we wanted to get across. And it's kind of funny because sometimes we'll send him stuff and we're like, make it happy, and he'll be like, what do you mean by make it happy? Like that's kind of a weird thing to say.
Make it happy.
Happiness, sorry.
But
see, he doesn't understand happiness, but yet he's still able to write it.
a wizard. But
He's a
yeah.
wizard.
But yeah, so sometimes that stuff's kind of hard. But through other examples, like showing him songs like, these are what I feel like happy notes sound like, or
Yeah,
this.
we will literally give examples of either sections of songs, sections of game songs, regular songs.
Yeah, progressions, scales, all kinds of stuff, and to slowly kind of build this song together. And it is a bit of a challenge, but I think in a way, for anybody who's like a solo musician that just works with other people like that, or trying to reach out to other people like Suki did, I think it's like a pretty solid method that works pretty well, because Asher is a really good songwriter, and he's been able to write, in my personal opinion, some of my favorite songs that I've ever made before. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of like where the conceptualization, like writing, first starts. Like after we get past that, we'll kind of pass all that stuff to Asher and go through it. Most definitely, I think it does take a little bit longer, I think, than if you were just sitting in a room like bouncing ideas off somebody.
Yeah, definitely, because he can show us in real time like this. And so, yeah, that's really hard. But yeah, you just make it work.
Yeah, but I think, though, that doing it this way, even though it's kind of a little unorthodox, that I think that you can kind of fine-tune the songs even better and make stuff that you're truly happy with. Because I feel that this is like the first time we've ever really done it this method, where we've worked like so remote from each other. Most of the time I work like, with like bands in a room or a studio or a garage or whatever, but I think that we're able to...
In his other band.
Yeah, I've been able to fine-tune the music for this, where we can make stuff that, like she said, is really catchy and works for other people that may not like anime, or may not even like metal, but at the same time can just make stuff that we're really proud of.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much that. I think after that, I think Asher is going to talk about the actual writing process and how he does all the magic.
I was going to say one thing just so it makes sense at the time, but I just want to say that that's an example of it not being like easy or usual, but if you really want it, you try your best to get around whatever obstacles you have. So I just want to like also, I know it has nothing to do with exactly the title of this panel, but
It's okay. That's what anime taught us.
yeah, I guess y'all here like anime and games, so you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that nothing should stand in your way, and if it does, just you have to find a way around it. Even if it is hard, but if you really love it, you can do it. But yeah.
Hi. So the writing process is pretty much, they already kind of described it. Like they'll give me notes about what they want to achieve from a song, and I'll just make it happen.
Make it work.
Usually I'll read the notes and I'll kind of get a feel for like the type of tones and the tempo and the key signatures and like more of the technical aspects of songwriting, just from reading the notes. And I'll start hearing the song in my head as I'm reading the notes, and I'll basically just start writing either on an instrument or I'll program it directly into the computer. And once I have a couple ideas or one idea, I'll send it to them, like just a sample, just to see if it's kind of on the right track. And if it is, then I just flesh out the idea from there and just finish out the song. And that's basically it. There isn't too much to it. I don't think there's any challenges for me personally when it comes to writing at distance, like remotely. It's interesting that you guys said that you used to write with people in the same room, right?
Not me.
I did.
Not
This is
me.
her first band, actually. Lucrecia's.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only way I know.
So basically, when I was in bands before, I was always writing the music by myself anyway, so I didn't have other people in the room. And once I got into doing it like professionally or like collaboratively with other people, they weren't in the room either, so they would just send me notes, or I would just write. I would come up with the notes myself and write something for them. But I'm used to like kind of just being on my own and like writing by myself. So if I have the notes and it's conveyed clearly, it doesn't matter if the person is in the room or if they're communicating over email or over a phone call or whatever. Once I know what the person wants, I can get it done. But also, there is like kind of a unique chemistry where I'm able to understand what they want. A lot of other people that I've worked with can't convey what they want. They can't like articulate what they want to hear in a song. So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of kind of unnecessary revisions to kind of to figure out what they want, and it just drags out the process, and it's fucking painful, to be honest. But with them, it's really easy. And
Is it a little excruciating? Okay, no names though, no names.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a really easy process. Like, I know what they want, I get the idea, I understand them, and yeah. I just get the instrumental done, and once the instrumental is done, I hand it back to them, and they'll write their lyrics, record their vocals, and they send it back to me, the files, and then I start mixing, and I send it to my friend to do mastering, and that's about it.
Okay, well, I guess he makes it sound so easy on his end.
It is.
I'm over here rambling on and wrecking my brain over here. So I don't know. I mean, I played violin in middle school, high school, and college. And I was first chair. If you guys know, that means I was in the front, like the very first one, which means I have like usually all the leads and stuff. So I do know some stuff about that, but nowhere near the music theory that he has. So sometimes it's frustrating for me because I'm trying to, like, I have this beautiful song in my head and I can't convey it. So I do my best in words. And luckily, I mean, it's rare that I've been able to have this with people, but he just understands. And there's sometimes where he will send the song, and we'll say, well, actually a little bit different in this specific spot. Sometimes it's very specific. Sometimes we even say, no, put this instrument here, or it's a lot of collaboration actually between all of us. But I just don't have the music theory, so. I think my writing is with words, but in a way, all of us come together, and I think we make something really nice. And we put a lot of effort into it because, like I said, I really love these things so much. And not only do I want to honor what I'm writing about, but I want to give back to the world what I got through music as well. Because music helps a lot of people. So, and of course, I mean, it's very normal, but for me, it helped me through a lot of hard times. So, that's, I think, like why we go through all these ordeals. But I think, let me see here, my little laptop. Help me keep on track so I don't ramble too long. Okay, great. I think they're there. And, okay, yeah, that was lyrical Riz. Someone, was that you? Okay, this is what he says. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in this little section, we're talking about the final lyric revisions. So.
The icing on the cake.
He says, we have to really look for the lyrics to stand out for their connection to the theme, but also have that pop or lyrical Riz to them. That's so funny. Come on, I cannot say that out loud. Because I'm not supposed to really read this, but yeah, so pretty much, yeah, I guess I'll just talk a little about that. But like I said, we'll watch something over and over and over again. So like, for example, Grave of the Fireflies, I feel bad spoiling it if you haven't seen it. It's so beautiful, but like the hardships the main character goes through. I rewatched that like over and over and over again, and I'm sitting there crying, but I am also thinking about real life experiences when I write lyrics too. I try to connect any kind of real life. Well, if I can, if it relates, I'll connect any kind of. So, that song is. I mean, that movie is. He loses his little sister. It's terrible. So, like, if you ever lost someone, you just kind of bridge those two things together. So it's not like I'm just writing about that, a movie of someone's experiences, not my own. But many times it is our own experiences. And for example, when we wrote Antipathy X Dismay, which is inspired by Hunter x Hunter, when Kaito, the main character's like father figure dies, Frankie, I don't know, I think you'll talk about it, but I feel I shouldn't be the one to speak on it, but he drew real life experiences as well. So, and it kind of, you can't help sometimes but to think about those feelings you had when you lose someone in real life, and then you see someone lose someone in anime, and the writer can write it so well. I mean, I'm sure they lost someone. That's probably why they're able to write it so well. I'm sure that they're drawing from their own true experiences. Raki from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure talks about that all the time. Fugo, when Fugo left the Part 5 squad, he actually was supposed to betray them, but he lost his friend in real life at that time. And for some reason, he couldn't help but, like, the fact of a friend betraying someone, he just, I don't know what it was. It's kind of hard to explain when you lose people. Your mind is just weird. But he said he couldn't do that, so he changed it. He said, okay, and he's not going to betray anybody. He's just going to leave. He's just going to get on git. But literally, he was supposed to betray all his friends. So that inspired the direction of that. Like I said, you draw from real life experiences as well. And so when we wrote Antipathy with Kaito, you were drawing from your real life experiences. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want
to. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about it.
You don't have to go crazy,
no, it's okay.
But.
So yeah, like she was saying, when we write these songs, we try to not only like pick a main topic point from whatever source material we're writing about, but a lot of times we'll try to parallel or personify things that we've really felt in real life, because like she said, they kind of make the songs more real. To you and maybe to somebody else that may draw from the same experiences you have or similar experiences.
We want to help people
that's
too.
What, like, yeah.
Go through these things.
Yeah, it's kind of what like music's for and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like therapy,
So when we wrote Antipathy and Dismay, we had just gotten through like a majority of Hunter x Hunter, and it was at the part she was talking about when Kaito passed away. And it was a really sad part. I felt that it was like really sad. And me personally, something that's personal to me. When I was younger, my mom, when I was like 17, passed away. And it was something that always like was mattered to me, because your mom, your dad are important people to you. And at the time when we wrote the lyrics, I drew from those real life experiences of like the pain that you feel like when somebody you love dies, and like the process like you kind of go through and how to kind of overcome that, as well as like trying to do your best to honor them after they pass away, because people always want to remember the people they care about and do the best to be the best person that person, even if you don't believe whatever the hell you believe in, that that person, if they were here, would be proud of who you are.
Live on and carry those dreams for them, since they can't do it themselves anymore.
Yeah, so we tried to personify those types of feelings and stuff like that, in hopes that not only for like just because it's natural to us, but that like she said, that if there's anybody else that kind of felt those types of things, that they could they could relate. And that's like generally the kind of goal that we have when we write lyrics. We'll try to look at our main topics and then try to see, not necessarily intentionally, but just like how we can relate these things to things that we actually truly feel, like not just, like she mentioned, just haphazardly reference like an anime or a game.
You can do that. That's more fun and lighthearted. I do know many musicians that do that, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that
that's true.
For me, it's hard for me to do that because I think I'm too emotional. And it's just hard for me to make it so simple. I'm like overcomplicated anyways. I make everything like 20 times harder because of like my ideas.
But yeah, so there's that. And then like she mentioned, other things that we've written about, like when we wrote about Femto at the time, I drew a lot of personal inspiration. A person that I had cared about had kind of At the time, we're still cool now, but they kind of did me dirty at the time, and I was like really pissed off about it.
Betrayed us.
And we just had this heavy song that we just written, and I was like, oh well, here's a good chance to write about something. And in Berserk, after Griffith betrays Guts, Guts harbors a lot of ill will towards Griffith. Obviously, there's the famous Griffith,
Yeah.
But fucking
It consumes him.
But at the same time, though, even though he feels a lot of anger towards him, he also still harbors a lot of like care and like love for him. And there's like that weird duality that you feel sometimes when people you care about kind of shit on you, and it sucks. But it's a weird feeling.
Because you wish for better. You wish it wouldn't have to be like this, because you maybe you remember the good times you had.
Yeah, but yeah. Either way, though. So those are like kind of the feelings that we try to personify, because they're things that like she mentioned that are within the story and that we relate to, and that we assume that other people probably relate to, because I'm sure everyone's had someone do them dirty, and I'm sure a lot of people have lost people they've cared about. So that's kind of like the overall objective when we write a lot of our songs. There are a couple songs where we do try to do crazier stuff, like Chapter Black is pretty crazy. We don't necessarily feel those types of things, but we feel for the people that have gone through things like that. So still, again, a personification of things we feel. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was thinking I'll just read one lyric from Chapter Black when it turns on. It's on. Yeah, let me just read a lyric. Since it's not out, let me just get this here. I have literally Berserk right here in my notes, Berserk Griffith monologue, because that inspires me. I save these things. Whenever I come across them, I try to remember and save them. I have actually really bad memory, really bad. I almost don't know if I even existed as a child sometimes. But
The key is taking lots of notes for these songs.
I take a lot of pictures, okay, to prove I was there. So yeah, I want to read one of my favorite lyrics that we wrote in general. So yes, have you ever witnessed death camps with frightened masses, with fearful tear-stained eyes, marching in line to their demise? Cavalrymen grinding the innocent under the weight of their unbearable malice. A monstrous bomb wiping away the millions of faces who've never once held a weapon. Humanity's collective sins have casted us too far off from any form of salvation. When I read this, I think he wrote this line right here. I can't remember because we both write. We both write, and then either we'll just pick the best of everything that we wrote and put it together into like a super mech. But yeah, so actually one of these lines is directly from that episode Chapter Black, which is where they talk about they've never once held a weapon. So a monstrous bomb wiping away the millions of faces who've never once held a weapon. That's one direct quote, actually. And everything else is just other things we made up, obviously, because they don't dive too much into that episode. But sometimes we'll take direct lyrics as well, just to mention that. Like in Rhapsodos, we have a song about Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Rhapsodos, based off the poem by Genesis. And we have a couple direct quotes in there, actually quite a few. I'm surprised no one's ever said anything. But yeah, anyways. Okay, this is one more lyric I want to say. So, bespattering ink onto flakes of snow, the darkness we aim to quell consumes the soul. Yeah, so that's just some examples of Chapter Black, and we really like making it crazy. I'm looking at it right now. But the times I sing, though, I want to mention, is not always that complex. Actually, when I sing, I can't do a lot of vowels and stuff. Because sometimes I come with the melody first. So I'll come with the melody, and I need to fit the lyric in the melody that I created. So I can't just be abhorrent swarms of, all these da 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 da. So I'll simplify those, and also I want it to be catchy for people to be able to sing and memorize them. But I still try to make it poetic and beautiful. But anyways, I think that I should ask if there's any questions, because I think we're running out of time.
Yeah, I think you're done your list.
Yeah, 9 minutes. I think that's okay. If there's no questions, I'll keep talking, I guess. But if anybody has a question, that's what this is here for, I think, right? Or you could just yell it from your seat, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can hear you. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hi. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Question for you, Asher.
Hi.
What DAW do you write in? What's your primary instrument that you like to kind of come up with ideas on?
That's a cool question.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is a cool question. I use Cubase. I've learned how to use like Ableton, Pro Tools, Reaper, but I like Cubase specifically because they've fleshed out their MIDI capabilities, and that's what I use for scoring. I use a lot of different virtual instruments and orchestra sounds. More specifically, what you probably want to know is like it's not just Cubase that I use. I use a program called Vienna Ensemble Pro, and this is a server that opens up on another computer and connects to Cubase. So I'm not sure how much you know about production, but when it comes to composing like the virtual instruments, they will take up a lot of RAM on your computer. So I basically offload all of these sample libraries to another computer, which houses like 128 gigs of RAM. And that houses all the orchestra instruments and different other sample libraries, and that streams into my main computer that's running Cubase. So I don't have to have like one computer like just blowing out all the CPU in one. I can like split it up across multiple computers. Yeah, so Cubase and Vienna Ensemble Pro. As for my primary instrument, I do a lot of writing just in my head, like, and I know what instrument the ideas will be allocated to. So I can just start programming right away, or sometimes I'll come up with ideas on a drum kit or guitar, but primarily guitar.
I just imagine your computer sounding like a jet engine if you didn't do that.
Sounds like my PS5.
No, it does? No, I didn't notice that. Okay. Anyways, I guess that's it, right, for that one? Okay, good. I don't want to interrupt.
Thank you for your awesome question.
Yeah, thank you. I so appreciate it. Yeah, don't be shy. You can ask anything you want. It doesn't matter what it is.
It doesn't even have to relate to
music.
music if
You
you
can
want
ask,
to.
like, hey, what's your favorite game or something? But, yeah, any other ones? I know people are shy. I'm shy. And I'm up here, and you guys are staring at me. But, yeah, any other ones? Oh, yay. Hello.
Did you watch Gundam Thunderbolt?
Oh, yay.
I watched the first one, but I actually haven't seen the other two.
Yeah, they're really good. The music is so
The jazz is really good. Yeah, I
We
really
love
the score.
that. We love that, or jazz in general. Yeah, we love jazz too. He was a jazz. He actually plays jazz.
Yeah, I actually played tenor sax for quite a while. Actually, the reason I'm here at this con, I used to play tenor sax with a trombonist here that's actually playing today in 7th Street Big Band. My friend Veronica, she's really cool.
Yeah, if you guys are around to see her, she's really amazing.
Yeah, she's playing today. But yeah, I really love jazz a lot, actually. We actually have a song. It's not really like jazzy, but it's not out. It's going to be on our full length. It's like inspired by like Japanese like 80s city pop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is like more so inspired by funk, but you know, funk does have some jazz elements and stuff like that. And Asher he didn't rip it, but he programmed a really mean sax solo that I'm really excited for, because being a saxist, I was like, we need a sax solo, bro. We need a sax solo. So.
But we need to finish Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I know. I most definitely do. I'm not gonna
Actually,
lie.
I have to watch quite a few more.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Turn A, for example. I really want to watch that, even though I know it's kind of
You're missing out.
apparently weird. But
Turn A's weird, but good.
yeah, we've seen pretty much all the first, like, all the way up to, let's say, 2000, besides just like maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, I haven't seen NT yet
Gundams.
either. I think NT is like one of the other ones I haven't seen.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for asking it. Okay, I'll get on that. I'll get on that.
Maybe we'll watch it in the hotel tonight, all of us.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes
all
I
three.
force people to watch my favorite animes when they come over. Like, I'll put on Zeta, and they have never even heard of it. And I'm like, you're watching it now. You're gonna be a Zeta fan, darn it. Or even the first one, I'm like, okay, fine. You hate Camille, then I put on Amuro. It's almost the same damn character, but sure, yeah. He's like, he cries too much. I said, do you not remember Amuro literally getting bitch slapped like all the time? Like, yeah, you're not a pilot in a gun if you don't get bitch slapped by Bright Noah, right? Oh my gosh, I love Zeta, you guys. If you haven't seen it, actually, to be honest, I just recommend it, okay? And if you hate me for it, I'm sorry, but it's really beautiful. And I love the concept of new types. It's so wonderful. But yeah, Gun. Okay, we'll get on Thunderbolt. And anybody else have one? I feel so shy asking. Come on, Mark. I know you got one up your sleeve.
Do you guys ever get your own song stuck in your head?
Yeah.
You know why? Because I have to listen to it 1 trillion times to make sure the mixing is good, or the mastering, or... Oh my God. Actually, to be honest, I'm just not over my songs, but I'm just excited to write the new ones, to be honest. And all these songs that we've been releasing lately, maybe many of you haven't seen them. So it's on our YouTube channel, and we have Spotify as well.
Yeah, it's Lucrecia, look us up.
Yeah, Lucrecia Band, Instagram, Lucrecia Band, super simple. You can ask us after if you really want to have our QR code or something. But yeah, we have all that on there. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry,
You're
guys.
talking about the new songs.
I am so sorry. Yep, it's gone. Oh, Borg, damn you. Okay. But yeah, so I guess there's no more questions, right? Any shy takers? Oh, Tiffany's got her fan out. Okay, I was like, what is that? I was like, thank you. Oh, maybe too. But yeah, I think then that's okay, right? Anything else you want to say?
No, I guess that's it.
Yeah, so again, we're Lucrecia. We're a Kawaii-core metal band from Oakland, California, and also kind of Canada. But he doesn't like it there, so.
Yeah, begrudgingly.
Yep.
Look at him, he's so silly.
He wants to be a Bay Area person too.
How does he make all these things and this is his demeanor? I mean, it's inside, it's inside, it's hidden. But yeah, so we're Lucrecia, Kawaii-core idol band from the Bay Area. I hope to be like the first idol ever here in America, Kawaii-core idol, obviously inspired by baby metal and stuff and that concept of that. But I also want to add a lot of nerdy elements into it, and that's how we formed Lucrecia. So it's like a big ball of stuff that we're fans of, basically, and the amalgamation of that. Like Katamari. Anybody play Katamari? When you just roll around, you just grab everything up in there. You're like, yeah. And you're like, oh, there's a human. Oh, there's a car. You're like, all right. And then the dog, you're. I love Katamari. So the music in Katamari is so good, dude. But yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I just want to say that, and I guess anybody else want to say goodbye?
Thanks everybody for coming.
This is our first panel. By
yeah, I was
the
gonna
way.
say I wasn't really sure who was
So
gonna come
thank you
pull
for
up
coming. I
because
was so
we've never done
nervous.
this before. It was kind of a bummer because I wanted to make a PowerPoint for this, but we weren't confirmed, or at least I didn't check my email until like a week ago, and I was like, oh shit. And since we had an hour-long performance, it was like PowerPoint or get really good for our set. So we're like, oh, gotta practice. So I want to make sure.
It's an hour-long set, okay? And we have all these crazy backtracks.
I figured, luckily, like she mentioned, we get asked this question quite a bit from whenever we're interviewed and stuff like that. So I figured that we were like, well, we've answered this a bunch. We
and
could.
MAGWest.
Yeah, we can wing it.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll be back again next year. Thanks for hanging out with us.
I appreciate it so much.